the fandom is still struggling to make sense of what happened. Late last night, quiet corners of the internet burst into chaos after fans noticed that Faye had unfollowed Yoko Apazra on Instagram. Something so small, so simple, yet painfully loud. In a digital world where a follow can symbolize affection and connection, an unfollow cuts deep, and this one struck like a knife. How did things reach this point? For months, their bond felt unshakable. They were the pair everyone couldn't stop talking about. On screen, their chemistry felt like fate. Off-screen, their closeness seemed even more real. Faye's elegant calmness balanced Yoko's fiery, playful warmth. They looked like two puzzle pieces that found their place in each other. Fans didn't just love their performances, they loved their connection, a relationship that felt organic, affectionate, private but visible in every lingering glance. People first took notice during their early promotional schedules. Faye would glance at Yoko with soft eyes, like she was quietly listening even when Yoko wasn't speaking. And Yoko would gravitate toward Faye, teasing her, protecting her, drawing laughter from her with ease. No one had to force it, nothing felt staged. Their personalities wrapped around each other naturally, and audiences fell in love with that dynamic. It became a comfort, a story worth following even when the cameras stopped. Which is why last night's quiet shift hit so hard. It started with a single fan who noticed the missing follow. No drama, no announcement, just silence. The screenshot spread like wildfire. Within minutes, the internet was not only awake, but screaming. WhatsApp groups filled, comment sections exploded, thousands rushed to check for themselves, praying it wasn't real. But it was. Faye no longer followed Yoko. That single absence told a story no one was ready to hear. People immediately started rewinding time. That's how heartbreak works. It pushes you to search for the moment everything changed. Fans looked back at old images, searching for early hints. Their last public event together was suddenly placed under a magnifying glass. Some fans swore there was tension. Others insisted they looked normal. One moment seemed to haunt viewers most, an interview clip where Yoko's smile appeared faint, her eyes distant, while Faye seemed distracted. At the time, it seemed normal. Now, people wondered if that was where the fracture began. Once upon a time, their feeds overflowed with affection. Playful comments, mirror selfies, support for each other's projects. Yoko, who often expresses warmth openly, would proudly share photos of them, while Faye mirrored in quiet but meaningful ways. Over time, those interactions slowed. Fewer likes. No comments. Silence instead of playful reactions. Fans noticed, but didn't want to believe it meant anything. Until now. Theories began flooding social platforms within seconds. Some claimed the two had a misunderstanding, others speculated about pressure from management. A few wondered if jealousy or competition could be involved. Maybe a role, an endorsement, or professional decisions created friction. But those were only guesses, whispered loudly through anxious timelines. No confirmation came. Neither actress spoke. People were left not just confused, but afraid of what the silence meant. One theory suggested that the unfollow wasn't impulsive, but a final step after weeks of distance. Another argued it may have been a small personal disagreement exaggerated by online attention. Some fans hoped it was an accident or Instagram glitch, anything but intentional. Nobody wanted to accept the possibility of a real fallout. Not between them. Because this wasn't just any friendship. For many, Faye and Yoko's bond represented something rare. Trust in an industry where image is calculated and relationships are often shallow. Their closeness felt honest. They showed up for each other during stressful shoots. Yoko would stay close to Faye backstage, always watching, always ready to help. Faye, despite her reserved nature, would soften around Yoko, offering gentle reassurance. It was the kind of connection that made people believe in quiet, simple love, the kind that doesn't need grand gestures, just presence. Now, everything feels uncertain. Some heartbreak came from fans who had their own dreams tied to the pair. They created fan art, video edits, stories, hours spent celebrating their connection. For them, Faye and Yoko weren't just actresses, but symbols of something beautiful. Losing that connection felt personal, like watching a fragile dream slip between their fingers. Others responded with anger. Comment sections filled with demands for answers. People begged both actresses to explain. Some went further, accusing Faye of hurting Yoko, though no evidence exists. On the other side, supporters defended Faye, arguing that unfollowing isn't necessarily proof of conflict. Maybe it's a boundary. Maybe it's temporary. Maybe it's healing. But what makes this moment so emotional is the history behind it. There were small stories fans loved, like how Yoko once gave Faye her jacket on a cold set even though she needed it herself. Or how Faye once skipped a break just to keep Yoko company. Those stories feel heavier now, weighted with longing. People replay their favorite videos, wanting to protect something already slipping away. One fan wrote, "They made me believe in gentle connection. I don't know how to handle this." Another said, "Maybe they're just taking space. Real love needs space sometimes." That comment stayed with thousands, because maybe that's true. Maybe the unfollow isn't a goodbye, but a break. The kind of break close people take when emotions become overwhelming, and distance feels safer than closeness while wounds mend. And yet, for others, the silence hurts more than the unfollow. If they are okay, why not say something? If this is temporary, why not reassure their fans? But neither has spoken. Their stillness is its own message, one that fans must learn to sit with, even if it stings. Some have tried to find comfort, reminding everyone that relationships evolve. People grow, sometimes apart. It doesn't erase what was real. It doesn't mean the story is over. Maybe they will talk again. Maybe they will repair what has been bruised. Many fans cling to that hope, refreshing their screens, waiting for a sign. A like, a comment, a photo. A moment that says everything is still okay. What hurts most is how sudden everything feels. One day, laughter. The next, an empty space where a follow used to be. It feels symbolic. Like a quiet goodbye whispered behind closed doors. Something only they understand. And yet, beneath all the noise, there is still love, from the fans, from the community that held their bond close. People are grieving because something beautiful mattered deeply to them. Their connection wasn't just entertainment, it was comfort. It was representation. It was hope. So now, we wait. Will Faye follow again? Will they appear together? Will they speak? Or will this moment mark the beginning of a different story? One where they continue separately, but forever changed by what they shared? Nobody knows. For now, all that remains is a single question echoing through every timeline and comment section. What happened between Faye Malisorn and Yoko Apazra? And maybe someday soon we will hear the answer. Not from rumors, not from speculation, but from their own voices. Until then, we hold on to what they gave us, a connection that reminded us of softness, of joy,